Hey friend, in this video, I'm going to show you my go-to EQ method for EQing a live worship recording vocal track, okay? So we've been doing this whole series, go-to EQ series. So if you're just now, finding me, go back. We went over drums, guitars, keys, synths, everything. And then on the very last video coming up in a few days, we're going to be doing the go-to EQ for a mix bus, okay? And if you guys haven't picked up the EQ mixing cheat sheet down below, pick that up real quick. It kind of has all the starting points that we've talked about for the go-to EQ series and even more compression tips and all sorts of cool stuff. Absolutely free. Just go pick that up down below. All right, so let's dive in. So this was a live worship recording that I did. It's been a while, and I'm going to do a much further in-depth video on this recording. It may even give you guys access to the multi-tracks, but this was just one of the sessions. It was a female session, I don't know, it was like a teenage, kind of conference type of thing. And so it's all girls. And so I'm just going to show you guys this vocal soloed real quick. And the only things that it has on is clear. Just get rid of some of that, some of the drums and the background noise. And then we have waves tune on just to tune up because, not everyone performs the best live. So they need a little bit of tuning. No shame there. And let's just give this a listen.
I'm standing on the edge of everything I know. Comfort is behind me.
And then let's just dive further into the song, just so you guys can hear kind of the full band with everything.
You take all my questions. They wrestle to the ground. Patiently you guide me beyond what I see now.
Okay, cool. So the mic that was used was a Lewitt MTP 950. If you guys have not used that mic, it is a phenomenal mic for live worship recordings. Right now, it's my favorite besides the DPA de facto, but it's so expensive. But below, I'm going to list down below my favorite mics for recording live vocal recordings, all the way ranging from $100 to I think it's like $1,200 for the DPA. Whatever you can afford. They all sound really, really good. What's great about the Lewitt that I like a lot is it has a 1-inch condenser coil in it. And so it really captures, I feel like, the vocal pretty well. And I feel like I don't have to add as much brightness to in post-production. So anyways, so let's just dive in. The first thing I do is I will go for a parametric EQ. Doesn't matter which one you have. It could be the stock one, but I like Pro Q. And the first thing I'm going to do is roll off a bunch of low end. Usually whenever the vocalist is performing, they're really right up front right here. And you get a lot more low end whenever they're really on the mic. And so a lot of that, especially in female vocals, you don't really need that. On male vocals, you may not do as much cutting. So let's just give this a listen here. Let's do some cutting.
I lay me down at the altar over and over, over and over.
So I'm going all the way up to 300 hertz. There's no shame in this, especially on a female vocal. On a male vocal, you may only go up to like 200 or so. Just depends on the track, depends on what's needed, depends on the vocal. But on her vocal, 300 sounds great. I'm gonna keep the slope at 12 dB per octave, just so we still get some of this low end here, but just, it's sloping off quite a bit. Next is pretty much the most challenging thing out of any mix is getting the vocal mid-range to sound how you want it to sound. It's something that I still even struggle with to this day. And I will not lie about that. There are sometimes that I will EQ a vocal track and have to re-EQ it just because of this range. So from, we're talking about from 800 to like 5K, it's so tedious because that's where a lot of your power comes from, but also a lot of your nasally and your harshness. That's where that comes from too. So you got to be very tedious with this and get it just right. So what I like to do with the parametric is pull everything out that I don't want. So let's just do that.
From fear to faith, I surrender over and over.
So
over and over.
Right there around 760, it looks like there's something like a hmm sound, and that may be from her voice, maybe from the microphone that she's using, or the room that we're using. Like, there's a lot of factors, but there's like little things like that I just don't want, and so we're gonna pull that out.
Over. You take all my questions.
Let's A/B this.
As they wrestle to the ground.
So even just doing that, we pulled about 4.5 dB out right there. It's just tightening her vocal up already, and we still have a good amount of power. There's still another frequency even lower that I don't like. That it's just a little bit too much. So we're gonna keep searching for that.
Patiently you guide me.
Right, it's right. Yeah, right there. So about 350. We're just gonna pull a little bit of that out.
Beyond what I see now. Oh, I don't have all the answers.
Bypass.
Trust is what
On.
I need. My comfort is in no.
Okay, so whenever she goes to the C, that comfort, we're just gonna loop that real quick, because there's a weird mid-range note that we probably need to maybe do a dynamic EQ, but we're just gonna pull it out for now.
My comfort is in no way.
Yeah, it was like right at 1K, which is honestly, there's a lot of times at 1K that I'm pulling random stuff like that out.
My comfort is in no way.
And it's still on the lower too, so we'll try to find it.
My comfort is in no way. My comfort is in no way.
And so I will just sit here and do this until I feel like I've pulled a lot of the weird frequencies out. And sometimes your frequencies will look insane. It'll look like you're a lunatic, which is fine because you are.
Comfort is in no way.
Now on.
My comfort is in no way. My comfort.
Okay, it's already sounding really good. So I will sit here probably for a while. Like I'll spend at least 30 minutes to an hour on just EQing my lead vocal because it's got to be right. It's got to be right. And with the live worship recording, it's very tedious because they're not putting in a perfect performance, right? It's so hard for a lot of them to do that. And so after I get done cutting, I will grab some sort of, I love the SSL EQ, but you can grab whatever you have, whatever it's an API EQ, or like I love some sort of like vintage style EQ that just sounds a little bit more musical, sounds different. And this is where I like to add frequencies, but I'll still drop some in here as well. So let's just give this a listen. And I have this set up so that like 10K is a boost for me, and then usually sometimes 1K is a boost for me just to get more power. In between 1,000 and 5,000 frequencies is a lot of power, but it also can be that harshness, like I said before. So we're just gonna have to play with this. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually when I'm adding these frequencies, I'm actually gonna do it within the context of the mix because I want it to shine over everything, but you can easily make it way too bright if you are doing it in solo.
I lay me down at the altar, over and over and over. From fear to faith, I surrender.
And so I'm actually going to see what this 1K looks like.
Over and over.
So it's funny that we're taking out some 1K, but I'm going to boost a little bit with the SSL EQ because I feel like it adds power. It actually pushes her out in the mix in a nice natural way rather than it being harsh.
Over find my life when I give it up. I'm fear of faith, I surrender over and over. Oh, I gain it all. I gain it all in the letting go.
So yeah, so this EQ, this top end EQ, I'm boosting at 10.5. It is a shelf, just so we're clear on that. And what it's doing is in these bigger parts, it's really pushing it over the edge and really making sure it keeps it out front. Now, obviously, this vocal still needs a bunch of compression and even some dynamic EQ. And so I will actually show you guys my C6 settings here, and we'll flip that on. But what this is mainly doing is controlling this upper mid range here, this 1 to 4K, which I talked about earlier, that you have to be really tedious with. Is when it gets overbearing, it's going to pull it down just a little bit.
So I'm letting go, 'cause you are in control. I find my life when I give it up. So I give it up. I can trust you're singing again. I gain it all in the land. Oh, we are letting go, yeah. I'm standing on the edge of.
And you guys can kind of see when she really digs in to, like when she's really kind of putting power into it. She gets a little bit harsher. And I think that's maybe the product of the microphone and how that works. So let's try to find that and try to tame it. So I'm going to grab an F6 here, and we're going to do some dynamic EQ on her vocal whenever she starts to dig in here.
Go, so I'm letting go. You are in control. I find my.
So it looks like it's around, what do we got here? 1.5 is where it just gets really harsh whenever she kind of digs in. And so we're gonna pull this. I'm actually probably not even going to pull any out, but I'm just gonna make it dynamic so it pulls it down automatically. Set the attack to a little bit slower and the release a little bit faster.
My life when I give it up. So I give it up. I can trust your love. I lay me down at the altar over and over and over. From fear to faith.
So in these headphones, at least, it took away a lot of that harshness. I may be overdoing it just a little bit. Obviously, you have to dial this in per vocalist, get it to sound just right. And then with just quick, I mean, I know this is an EQ series, but just so you guys are seeing what I'm using, I'm just using RVox to kind of get those initial peaks, and then we're using the CLA 76 to really button it up.
I surrender over and over and over. I lay me down at
And we're ending it with the de-esser.
the altar over and over and over. From fear to faith, I surrender over and over. Oh, I gain it all. I gain it all.
And so, and again, I need to take more time on this vocal. Like, there's still some harsh frequencies here and there that really just need to be dialed in. And so you come in here, you can make them dynamic. You can, just pull little ones out. Maybe I pulled too much low end out, or low mids out. And so, really just, you got to sit with it. You got to take time with it. This is the most important thing in your mix, most of the time, right? Most mixes. And so you have to treat it as such and spend the most time on it. And even choose good reference tracks. So this is something that I don't think a lot of people talk about, is choosing a good reference track, not just for the kick and the snare and everything, but choose like where the vocal is sitting so perfectly in the mix. Just AB it, AB it, AB it. Like how bright is that vocal? How much low end does the vocal have? How much low mids does it have? Where is it sitting in the mix? Why is it sitting so perfectly in between all these things? That's what you really need to ask, because a lot of the vocal, whenever how it sits in the mix is often determined by the things that you do to the other instruments, because you want your vocal to shine through. But sometimes just adding top end, like adding that 10K, may not be the answer for your mix, and so you have to be aware of that. Like adding too much top end is just going to make it sound thin overall. Sometimes, but also other times it's needed. Maybe it was recorded with a really dark microphone, or their vocal was just really dark. They were eating it the entire time. So be very wary of what needs to be done within the mix and what doesn't, for that vocal to shine through. And I think that's it. Hope that helps, guys. EQing vocals is not the easiest task in the world, but it's definitely doable if you take the time on it, and don't use like a bunch of quick hacks. Like if you see these videos of like, do these 4 EQ moves and your vocal will shine through, that's just not true. Like they don't know what mic you're using. They don't know what the vocalist sounds like. They don't know how they performed. There's too many factors for them to just be like, boost 8K and cut 750 and it's gonna be great. They don't know. Like that's ridiculous. But if they give you an EQ range, like that's fine. There's always I always give ranges, because there's no I don't know what you're dealing with. I don't know what you got. I don't know what you're EQing. So anyways, I'm babbling. I hope you guys got something from this video. Next video is the mix bus EQ, and then we'll be done with this series. I've got some recording videos coming up. I've got some mix walkthroughs coming up. So if you guys have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Mixing cheat sheet down below, and I will see you guys on the next video.